All right, this is our third attempt at this, so bear with us. We're gonna discuss the assembly and the mounting of the duck prop. I just received a new 4-bladed prop, and I don't think they have a manual out for it yet, but it's the same assembly. This is the 3-bladed prop I took off of my 912 Rotax. And so anyways, when you receive the propeller, you'll get however many blades that you ordered. You'll get a front flange and a rear flange and all the hardware. And you'll get this backing plate that goes here, and then you'll get 6 bolts. One thing you want to pay attention to is these washers. They're a little Belleville, and they're serrated on one side. That side goes towards the head of the bolt. And of course, each bolt fits in here when you go mounting it on the engine. And be careful when you assemble the hubs, the rear hub and the front hub, because on each hub there's a serial number decal, and that has to be on the same place front and back, here and here. And also you can tell the rear hub plate has larger holes to fit on a Rotax. There's big lugs that fit into it, and they're threaded, so that fits on this rear hub. And the front hub is obviously smaller. Like I just showed you, the bolts fit in here with this flange. So you start out with just the rear hub on the table. You set each blade in, and you want to make sure you've got the leading edge going in the right direction as your engine turns, in this way, counterclockwise. And the hubs have a tapered seat, and the props have a tapered seat, and they have to match. I mean, they have to seat in. So when you install each blade, be sure you pull out and make sure you seat that prop blade to the hub. Obviously, you do that in every prop blade. Okay, then you have a spacer here, which you can't see. That's a separate piece. You set that in, then you put the front flange half on top of it. And like I say, just kind of put in a little bit of pitch, because you're going to have to readjust it once it's installed on the engine. You install these bolts, nuts and washers, and just snug them, just so you can still turn this, but they're not so loose that the blade is wobbly. Okay, once that's accomplished, then we'll take the assembly and we'll bring it over and install it on the engine. Okay, here we are. We've installed the 4-bladed prop on the engine, and you would use the plate here and the bolts and the washers, and you pre-tighten the hub, the assembly, to the engine. And to do that, you pre-torque. You do the cross pattern. A little bit here, 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 here. You keep doing that progressively until you've achieved the torque specifications, which is 25 Newton meters or 18.5 foot-pounds. Once you've achieved that, now you loosen these up. Now you're ready to adjust each blade. Before you use the protractor, there's a dimension here that you have to measure from the tip of the blade inboard, and that dimension is in the instruction manual. Hopefully you'll get one. 25 centimeters or 9 3/4 inches. So you will do that and measure it, make a mark on each blade before you start assembling. Now, duck propellers, they offer this protractor. It's a very precise tool that you have to have, and it's additional cost. And it's made in such a way that it clamps onto the propeller blade, and you can adjust the desired angle of the blade pitch. And let's just say, for instance, we're going to do, mine was 19. So I'll set 19 degrees here. And by the way, to start out with, like this is a 100 horsepower engine. My 3-bladed prop was 19.5 degrees. But I noticed with adding another blade from a 3 to a 4-bladed, the engine would not turn up the proper RPM. I was about 200 RPM short. So I had to flatten each blade out by 0.5 degree. And 19 degrees seems to fit real fine. So that's what you would do. It's a trial and error thing. Okay, once you set the angular degree here, I suggest you put a piece of tape on this, because this is very sensitive, and by handling this protractor from blade to blade, you may change this. Okay, the mark here, you rotate and get the prop approximately horizontal. And before we do this, let's back up a step. This flange here, propeller flange, has to be vertical, 0 degrees. And to achieve this, you can raise and lower the nose of the aircraft using shims, blocks, or whatever. Because it's so much easier, rather than if this is not 0 degree, then you have to compute this angular difference along with your prop setting, and to me it's too confusing. So 0 degrees here, vertical. Now approximate horizontal. You put this protractor right about there. And this is 19 degrees set. Now, at this point, you take your rubber mallet. For instance, if you obviously have to center the bubble. So if you want to add pitch, then obviously you got to take the leading edge and move it that way. You would grab the prop blade and put a twist, a little torque into it, and then just tap this leading edge little by little. It's the only way that I found that you can just make minute changes in the bubble, because that bubble is very sensitive, as you can see. It doesn't take too much to get it centered, to move it a little bit. Okay, once you achieve the center bubble in the degree that you want, then you add a little more torque to these bolts. A little here, a little here. You don't want full torque. Just snug them a little more. Here a little, here a little. If you tighten this too much at one time, it may have the tendency to roll that blade and change your pitch setting. So a little bit. Okay? Now you remove the protractor, and when you rotate the blades for the next blade, you don't want to handle this blade that you've already preset. You turn it the other way, and the procedure's the same. Once you've accomplished all the blades being set to your specification, now at this point, you tighten these up to the torque setting of 25 Newton meters or 18.5 foot-pounds. A little pre-torque here, pre-torque like we did originally, here, 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 the cross pattern. A little more, a little more, a little more, until you've got 25 Newton meters or 18.5 foot-pounds. This is snug. This will actually prevent these blades from moving when you finish torquing these bolts. So then you finish torquing here, 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 here. Now, once you fly this for an hour or so, you come back, you retorque these, because they'll be a little loose. And that occurs when any slop or play or everything, all this new equipment gets smooshed together good, then you have to re-torque them. And that should be fine at this point.